Hey there, everyone. Happy Saturday morning to you. It's your girls from Obscure Orations, me, Tay, her, Dana. I'm sure at
Hi.
some point in time, someone's going to be like, why do you say me, Tay, and her, Dana? Like, it's just how it started, and it just stayed in my brain. And that is now how it will go on until we die. So we are back today with another mini episode, and it's going to be about the Disney Plus series Agatha All Along. For some reason, I always want to say Along Came Agatha, and I don't know why. Like, it's literally an alliteration. I still want to do it, even though Agatha All Along. Agatha All Along. I am at some point in
Agatha
time going
All
to
Along.
I'm going to fuck it up and be like, oh yeah, and along came Agatha. Wait, that's not right.
No, she didn't.
She came along. It was just in a most violent fashion. So Dana power watched it because we were late to the party. I won't even lie. I didn't even know that it was out. Like, I watched Disney Plus all the time, but I was busy trying to watch Buffy and not paying attention to it. So I didn't even notice that the show was out until before last week's episode. So I just happened to pop it on because we were watching stuff, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to try that new Agatha All Along show?" Like, I was also assuming that it was all in one lump sum, like how we did for a while there, and now TV's gone back to week things. So I didn't know that they only had 6 episodes out at the time, and that there'd be 9. I was like, "Oh, it's just a short season." 6 episodes will be done, and then we'll be all caught up with the rest of the world. And no, I then had to watch last week's episode and then this week's 2 episodes. And then I had the thought of, oh hey, we used to do mini episodes on House of the Dragon. Yes. And then I remembered that Dana does love Marvel along with me, so it was like, oh yeah, you and the husband went and did your Marvel watch through, I think shortly after my mom and I did.
Yep.
Which takes dedication. Let me tell you, there is so much to watch.
I don't think we're done yet.
I thought you guys had, well, I mean,
I think the last one that we watched was Endgame.
oh yeah, then you still got a bunch to watch.
Yeah. It's just
It's a lot.
it's Norm. It's
Yeah.
something new comes out. Let's watch that. Something old is on Netflix. Ooh, let's watch that. So like we have the last season of What We Do in the Shadows. We're on season 8 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine for the 5th time. He decided to start rewatching Lost. And in the meantime, the Yankees were in the World Series, so I had to watch baseball. And before that, they were playing Cleveland. Cleveland being my husband's team, my team being the Yankees. So we had 2 series to watch in baseball. From the show From. I watched the Great British Bake Off because I love
amazing.
the Great British Bake Off. I love that show. My husband has found a way to jury rig his computer so that our IPN or DPN is in England, so we can get Channel 4.
And what are you watching it? What are you trying to stream over here? British Bake Off. Please just let me watch it.
Plus, Abbott Elementary, kids ruin everything, or children ruin everything. Grey's Anatomy, Hell's Kitchen. Like, there's so much. I can't keep it all straight sometimes.
That's a lot.
So when you said to me, watch Agatha All Along, I'm like, I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do it in like a 2 day span. And I'm going to have to do it during the day.
Without Norm around.
And you know what? So, I started it on Wednesday. I got 2.5 episodes in,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to stop because I have to
Halloween
go
stuff.
make dinner for my family and whatnot. And then Thursday was Halloween, so that's nothing but horror movies on my TV. And my friend Michelle and we watched the Insidious franchise. Then we went and handed out candy. She went home where we usually watch Cabin in the Woods, but she went home and there we were, watching the finale of Love is Blind on Netflix. And then oh God, I don't know. So then yesterday I'm like, I'm gonna power through it.
You did! Holy shit!
And I love my husband. You guys know that I love him. He never comes out of this room for lunch. And if he does, he sits at the dining room table, kitchen table, and he eats his lunch playing on his phone. No, he picks yesterday to sit in his lazy boy while I'm on the couch, cross stitching, watching Agatha. And then he starts asking me questions. I'm on the season finale. Who's that? Oh, I remember her from the comic books. Wanda and Vision had kids.
Murder I would have been looking at those needles and been like, this will fit real good in your eye.
So yeah, but I did. I got it done. Woo! And I even got to sneak in an episode of Criminal Minds.
Oh, right.
I'm on season 3. I'm halfway through season 3. Had so much other shit to watch, I can't keep up. So,
I mean, you all don't understand. Like, I was legitimate sitting there. I'm like, I'm literally at work. I'm like, okay, you know what? She was only on like 2.5 episodes. I mean, they're fairly short episodes because the credits are fucking forever. There's like, she'll get a decent chunk. Like, if she can at least get up to episode 6, then at least we could do. I was like, you know what? We can do it as like a 2-parter. We can have here's the first half of the season essentially, and like then do another one and do the second half of the season. And then I'm at work and I look down at my phone and there's a message from her commenting on Agatha and what happens. And I immediately sat there. I'm like, has she? I was like, have you seen the finale yet? And her response, yeah, that's why I'm saying this. I'm like, holy fuck. It's like, when I left you a few hours ago, you were like, okay, I'm going to start it. And then she's like, bam, 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 bam.
So Agatha comes from the Marvel universe. She is a witch, but I did not know that because I got 2 episodes into WandaVision and went, this is fucking dumb, and shut it off and never watched it again. So now I feel obligated. I'm going to have to start WandaVision over and watch WandaVision.
I promise it gets better because like I want to say it was the first 2 episodes were really slow moving for me, and where I was like, thank God my mom has OCD when it comes to TV shows and she has OCD period. But when it comes to things like that, she has to finish a series. No matter how bad it is or how bad the movie is, she cannot stop it. She has to watch it. For me, I can put it down. Whereas she was like, no, kid, we're finishing this. She's like, it's whatever. 9 episodes for that. She's like, we're finishing the fucking series. I'm like, all right, fine. And then I think it's like,
ouch.
I want to say I think it's like the end of episode 3, beginning of episode 4, when finally it starts all sort of coming together and you start getting the outside world outside of Wanda's bubble, and you're like, oh, now it's making more sense. So then it made
Yeah.
more sense. And Agatha's character, even in that as Agnes, was fucking fantastic. I enjoyed her, like I loved her character in that. And I never would have thought that they were like, oh, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna give you your own TV series. Because I never saw that coming, even with so in the show, everything obviously comes tumbling down in WandaVision. And again, people, hashtag spoiler alerts, we're doing it. um when the Scarlet Witch touches Agnes and steals all of Agatha's powers and turns her back into being Agnes and fully into being Agnes for the following 3 years, um, I didn't see that as. I literally forgot about the character. I'm like, oh yeah, I liked the character. I'm curious about her, but I didn't think it would go anywhere past that point. To then have, I'm going to say, an epic TV series made for her, because I absolutely loved it and enjoyed it. And I think it was partially because of the fact that I didn't expect it to be made. And then when it was made, it was so well done. And I think honestly, part of it for me is that I've watched a lot of interviews with the cast and them all talking about the fact that if they could do it practically, they did all of the things practically that they could. So the monsters that are in it are legitimate. They can actually see them. They're tactile monsters. They're actually there. The road is literally built there. They have all of that as all sets. It's not CGI'd in. It's not green screened, which is really hard to find in today's world because so many places, and I mean, don't get me wrong, obviously we've gotten some great movies out of green screens, but I think that kind of killed the acting world a little bit just because you can't react in the same way when you're like, okay, look at this tennis ball. Yep, this is the dragon's head. Okay, you're gonna pet it and love it. And you're like, oh, it's a cute dragon. You're like, oh, well, it's leaving some green fuzzies on my nose.
Yeah, but you have in that instance you have to look at the cost, right? The
Yeah.
cost of building the set, hiring the people to build the set, people to be in the monster costumes, all that, compared to buying a green screen, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, it's for sure. Like it's 100%. You can see why so many places do it, and especially for all of the effects that they want to do now. But to see practical applications coming back in more and more often, because I've noticed it with more shows lately. Like I'm Sean Connery suddenly. I should say, um, in regards to like fantasy shows, is when they're bringing it in more and they're making it more practical and offering it. And I'll be curious to see. It's less brand new now, but Jon Favreau, who is integrated into both Marvel universe and into the Star Wars, because he is God.
Happy is God.
Yes, happy are his subjects. He came up with new technology for the Mandalorian, and I don't know if you've ever watched the behind the scenes stuff that they have for it. So you saw the stuff where they literally have like LED TV screens all around, and then little practical sets so that they can actually all see the things. I'm like, that's brilliant. I'm like, that needs to catch on for all things because that gives the actors something to actually react to and play off of with each other. And it makes the shows that much better and more realistic in a sense and draws you in more. And I think this show did a fantastic job with that.
Yeah. It was very well done. And for me, not knowing anything about Agatha, so I went in blind.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, it was around around the third or fourth episode when they were on the road and shit was kind of like going right, and then I was like intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was that made me want to just finish it.
Yeah.
And get it done. And it was good. It was very well done. It was very good. And like I said, now I have to go watch WandaVision.
Now you're like, great. Now I got to backtrack and figure out who the hell Agatha is.
The cast was exceptional.
Right? Like,
the cast was exceptional.
Crap.
Is it Catherine Hahn?
Yes. Oh my God, Catherine Hahn.
Oh my God. So like in everything I've seen her in, she's fucking hilarious. Step Brothers, Bridesmaids, like she's just a very well-rounded actress. That first episode where she was still Agnes, the suspended
cop.
without pay detective, I was like, oh my God. She was just so unkept and unpolished.
But how great was it when in episode 6? Yeah, I think it's episode 6. When they go back and re-show that episode essentially and show how she was actually like what the world was actually like around her. So episode 1, I was so fucking confused because I had forgotten that the Scarlet Witch had done a boop and you're Agnes now for life. So I was confused about that. And then when they were going through, I'm like, this is so weird. But I'm like, I like it. It's weird. And then when she finally came out of it, it was like, oh, okay. So she was under the spell the entire time. I never even thought that everyone else was not in on this. Like, I just assumed that it was the entire world again. Like, I just didn't even question it. To then see episode 6 where she's walking around with the head of a freaking like the squirt hose part from the hose.
Oh, that's a gun.
Yes. And she's like, yeah, and playing with it. And I'm like, this puts the first episode. So I went back and rewatched the first 7 episodes because I had to wait for my mom to not have as much work so that we could watch the final 2. So I'm like, fine, I'm just going to rewatch the season. And it made me actually laugh even more at episode 1 because then I was just picturing in my head everything that happens in episode 6 where you see it all come together and you're like, this makes this even better that she's completely and utterly insane. And then I like the fact that they push the envelope a little bit with this because obviously, like, we have Deadpool, and Deadpool is now officially part of the MCU. He's no longer owned by Fox. He's in it. We have the fucking fantastic Deadpool and Wolverine movie, which was phenomenal, of course.
Oh, good.
Oh,
so
God,
good.
it was good. And you have him where he swears like a motherfucker. And gets away with so much because he's like, yeah, we're going for an R rating. We're going to do all the gory shit. We're going to have nudity scenes. We're going to have sex scenes. We're going to do all of it. Now, you look at any other Marvel creation, and they don't tend to push it too much because they're
wholesome.
Or say they still tend to be pretty wholesome. Like, you get like a little cheekiness once in a blue moon, but not often. Whereas this, like, right away or right off the bat with episode 1, and it's pointed out a few times in interviews with Catherine Hahn that she did the scene naked when she walks out of her house. As Agatha.
Her neighbor killed me.
Yeah, and she's just saying, whoa, Miss Agnes.
Agnes. He's like, Agnes, wow, Agnes scene, wow.
It's Agatha, what are you talking about? And just him, the way that he's looking around everywhere, and the part where he takes off his jacket and he's putting it over her shoulders. I was just about pissing myself laughing. as he's doing that, and then just the way that she instantly just shrugs it off and throws it back, he's like, ah, and then she just starts storming off back towards her house, and you just get a full backside view of her, and him going, cause you're naked. Okay. Like, yep. Yep, so that just happened. Like, oh, okay. Like, this is gonna be good. And the one so I wrote down several of my favorite lines from the series because they had so many good like one-liners in them. And again, I've seen a bunch of interviews where her favorite line was "Eat my ass, chief." And again, that is, I think, the first time that a Disney Marvel series has had swearing in it. And it was like, fucking well done. Well freaking done for that. It's like, yes, that right there was when I was like, I think I'm going to like this series. And then it just went up from there. And like you said, the casting for it was so well done. Like, I've loved Catherine Hahn since she was in the show. I don't know if you ever watched or heard of it, but Crossing Jordan back in
Yeah, I watched
2001.
it.
So she was in that. She was one of the main characters. And it was obviously it was a drama TV series because it was the coroner's ME office, all that fun stuff. God, I loved that show, and I can never find it to watch it again on reruns. So screw you, TV. Um, but I have loved her since then. So that was like, oh God, that was 23 years ago. Oh, ow.
Tubi has it.
Oh, does it? All right, now I'm excited. Hangs up goes. So I've loved her since then. And then you have the star-studded cast with freaking people like Aubrey Plaza, who I think did a fantastic job as playing the Green Witch, aka Death. Which again, I wasn't sure about when she first came in. I was like, oh, she's just like an assassin and she's trying to kill Agatha. Oh, romantic coupling went really, really bad. The breakup, atrocious. Like, we've all been there. We've all had the really bad breakups where you're like, yeah, well, I hope you die. Like, in this case, it's a little more literal. She's right there like, let's go, bitch. Let's go. It's time for you to be in the grave. I'm done with you. Let's go. You don't want to love me? Death. But you had her, and then, oh crap, why did her name just leave me? Patti LuPone.
Oh, I love Patti LuPone.
I didn't know how much I loved her until seeing her in this series. And then because the phone listens to all of the conversations, my TikTok is inundated with Patti LuPone videos. And I'm sure I'm going to get more now because I've said her name. It's like fucking Beetlejuice. But
Let me guess. The video of her singing Defying Gravity.
no, I haven't seen
Oh
that
my
one.
God, really?
I have not, but now I need to. Why not phone? So I've seen her singing, what is it? Buenos Aires, I think. And what's the name of the song? Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. And holy crap, can she sing? Like, I knew of her singing and that kind of stuff, but I'd never actually seen it or heard it myself. But what I love about her, and I'm not sure if you've seen these videos, so I'm going to compare her to. Have you ever watched? I think I've sent you some of the clips from the Graham Norton show with Miriam Margolyes, Professor Sprout from Harry Potter. So I think I've sent you some of the stuff where she is very vocal about her feelings on things. And it always makes me die laughing because she does not hold anything back. I was unaware that we have our version of her over here on this side of the world in Patti LuPone. Because there are some damn good videos. Number one, obviously, on the list is her just unapologetically talking smack about Madonna's portrayal of Evita in the movie and her talking about her being a movie killer and dead behind the eyes. Which just,
Agreed.
I mean, she's not wrong. She's not. Everyone knows Madonna is not an actress. And even she knew she was not an actress. But she still did a few things. They're still out there, you know. She had a little spurt.
Well, that's what happens when marriage number one is to Sean Penn, and then marriage number 4 is Guy Ritchie.
Yep. All things start to add up, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's we get it now.
I'll marry you if you put me in your movie.
And then the instant regret of going, oh, you can
Oh,
sing, but you can't act. Ah, fuck. So it's too late. We've already got her. We paid an arm and a leg. Let's do this.
contract signed.
But that just honestly, watching those kind of things made me love Patti LuPone even more. It was just like, okay, you know what? It's just every time that I saw something different with the cast, made me love them anymore. Let's talk about the fact that Miss Kitty, Kitty Foreman,
Kitty Foreman.
I had completely forgotten that she was in the WandaVision show. Completely and utterly. It had just completely left. And then when she showed up and Agatha's like, oh yeah, they're all like, oh yeah. Yeah, so we've got our this witch, that witch, the other witch, and that. Oh, but we don't have a green witch. The ballad says we need a green witch. Oh yeah. And she had made that black heart. And it was like, oh, I know who I have to go get. The crazy lady down the street. She had to go get Miss Foreman to complete her coven. I half expected Red to come out and be like, Kitty, get in here. Stop playing with the strangers.
Dumbass.
Exactly. Like, it made me so happy that she was there and so sad. Let's talk about how she died because this bugs me. This. Okay. Everyone put in hair. The spell required that you had to have a piece of hair or a piece of your own hair. So that way, obviously, I know, and I'm sure any witch who watched it knows that you have to have a way to bind it to yourself. Therefore, you have to have hair. Otherwise, the spell's not going to know what the fuck it's doing. Why ain't nobody grab her hair? She's literally laying, dying on the kitchen room table. They make the potion. Everyone else pulls out some hair, drops it in, and no one grabs it from Sharon. Like, this bugs me so much. It's like, you go through the trouble of making the damn potion, and you're like, oh, here, we grabbed some of it. Pull her hair out, and shove it in her cup, and then just shove it down her throat. But no. I mean, I know that they obviously had to bring in Rio, but come on.
It happens, right? Yeah. Through the course of the show, the loss of the people in the coven, you know, it was like you hated to see it, but it was kind of a necessity in order for progress.
And I find that the way that they did it was really well done because you felt the connection. Like, I think they were smart in how the order that they did it. Because while you don't know much about Sharon or Mrs. Hart, as Agatha continued to call her and was surprised every time, who's Sharon? I think the thing going into it is that, like, for Deborah Jo, everyone kind of already had a connection to her as Mrs. Foreman. Like anyone who's ever seen that 70s show or that 90s show now, we all just instantly hear her voice and we're like, oh, it's Kitty. And you automatically, like, I've seen her in other things, and anytime that I see her, I automatically think Mrs. Foreman, and I love her character. So I think it was kind of a smart idea to have her be one of the characters, because you kind of go in with people going, oh, yeah, it's that comforting, familiar feeling of Miss Kitty being in it. And then she died, so your heart just shatters. You're like, Red's alone. He's a widower. Now who's going to boss him around?
Yes. All in all, I did. I enjoyed the show. It made me excited to see what can happen in the next season. Should they continue?
As we're like,
Disney and Marvel are famous for putting a show on, cutting it off, and never talking about it ever again.
I like that you went to like a 1950s accent for that. Yeah, see here, we cut it off. You're done.
You're like, fuckers. So yeah, I'm excited to see what next season can bring, because again, spoilers, because now Agatha is dead and she's a ghost.
Okay, now did you see that ending, like the two season finale? I did not see that coming. I am not going to lie to you. Like, I had worked out a bunch of different things in my head, all of which were really, really wrong, including after we watched episode 8. And I literally like smacked my mom, like, hey, what happens if this is all just imaginary in his head? My mom's looking at me because it was the part where he's going around the room and he's literally looking at all the things that inspired the road. And I'm like, motherfucker, how did Agatha? I'm like, maybe Agatha pulled a Scarlet Witch and created this entire thing around him, made him think that he's in there, and secretly he's actually dead, and she's handing him over to Rio. I'm working out all these things in my head, then we press play to get to the season finale episode, and I was completely wrong. And sat there going, what? And let me tell you, it sparked a heated debate between my mother and I. And you know how competitive the two of us are, because here we are at like 1 a.m. arguing over the episode, because obviously we see, again, heavy spoilers. We're telling you right how it is in the end. We see finally what happened to little Nikki, her son. Which, by the way, her going out and giving birth in the middle of the woods and just biting onto a lemon to do it, like, nope. Mm-mm.
That's how I did it. No, I'm kidding.
I just popped those suckers out, a little bit of a slice of lemon, hit a tequila, lick the salt, and I'm good. Like, no, absolutely not. No fucking way in hell could I have ever done that. Even watching that part, I was cringing. Like, I could feel my uterus go, no.
I was in the hospital, but I did not have drugs. I had drugs, they didn't work.
No. But
and that's why I only have 2.
That is still one more than I think I ever would have been able to do. But when you see, like, that's the first time that you actually see Death, Rio, come out, and she's like, no, please let me keep him. And that finally made sense about the whole, I get my bodies, you get your power. And it was like, oh, okay, now it's starting to come together. I had thought it had all come together previous episodes, but then my wheels went and fell to shit. But then watching as he grows up and he literally steals that bell that she has in the very first episode that she dings and starts singing, or the second episode when she starts singing The Witch's Road.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you're watching it, and she's literally using him to lure in witches that she then steals their power from and goes about, I'm like, she's literally leaving bodies along a road. Okay, I get it. And then when the kids start singing down the windy road and all of a sudden the song starts coming together, I was literally sitting going, holy fuck, she's literally walking the witch's road. I get it now. And that's how she learned. Obviously, they do the montage once the little boy does die and Rio comes and grabs him. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see why that would suck. But she at least got some years with her little baby boy. However,
Sick.
I think it was 6. Um, just saying, I would have cleared my own name and been like, yo, I didn't kill my son and I didn't hand him over for the Darkhold. Let me clear this myth up, okay? I killed a bunch of witches. I used him to lure them in, but I did not hand him over for the Darkhold. But what made my mom and I argue at the end was the fact that obviously Agatha literally created the Witch's Road. She created the song with her son. They walked the Witch's Road, which was just the road of her life that she was going through and using to lure in witches. And every time that she was like, oh yeah, I made it to the end of the road, just me. Funny how that happens. And I got all my power at the end because she sucked them all dry. And then obviously it made sense once we got to the finale that she did understand. Now we still got 13 minutes. I haven't timed. And that's still 10 minutes less than an hour. That made sense for the first episode where she looked so confused, or the second episode when she looked so confused that the door actually opened up to the road.
Yeah.
And I was like, why does she look so confused? Like she's literally picking up a handful of dirt, looking at it like, what the fuck? And then watching as the kid comes running down, the teen, as he goes running down, and she looks so confused the entire time, and then just has that look of, what the fuck? It's like, none of it made sense at the time. And then you watch the season finale and you're like, motherfucker, he is his mother's child. He made the road out of things that he liked in his room.
Yep.
Which then sparked the argument between my mother and I, because I said that Agatha created the road, and she turned to me angrily and argued, no, you just saw, he even said he created the road. So then there was the argument between the two of us about who created the road.
So I will take Mama's side.
Oh, son of a
And
bitch.
I will agree that Nikki created the road. And the
No.
only reason.
She's saying the teen created the road. Billy.
Oh, Billy, sorry.
I'm saying that Nikki and his mom Agatha created the road.
I'm gonna say Billy did create the road, only because at one point we hear Agatha say it was a bunch of bullshit. I only used it to lure in witches to take their power. And I think that Billy actually created it because he had all that surrounding him.
Mm.
And then the song
Yes.
was out. So, you hear the song and you're singing the song and you're picking up on the visionary parts of what the road, the windy parts,
Mm-hmm.
So when Agatha and her new coven
The
were
Death Squad.
were in the basement and made the circle and they sang the song, he was there.
Mm-hmm.
The road appeared. The road never appeared when Nikki was there.
See, now that part, like that aspect of it, I agree. Like he made it a physical place because the road never physically existed in the sense of a trial setting. Whereas they created, or they didn't even really create the road. It's that the ballad literally is the song of their life going down the road. The wind,
Right.
obviously in the original wording that Nikki created, it was they were going down the windy road, and along their path, obviously, they kept on luring witches onto it. She mummified them, which, let me just say, looks horrifying. Like, just husks dropping dead. I'm like, oh my God, it reminds me. And I'm now kind of wondering if it's kind of inspired by it. In the original, or the 1990s version of The Mummy with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz in it, because Imhotep literally, in order to become human-y looking again, sucks all the people dry who touch the canopic jars.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they all reminded me of, except missing magical energy, obviously. And apparently, if you suck that out of a witch, you die and you become a dried up husk. Who knew? But so for me, it's the original road was just the one that they were, just the dirt path that they were walking down. And then obviously that first poor schmuck that came along was like, is this the witch's road? Is this where we walk?
Sure is.
Oh, as soon as they showed that part, I'm like, oh, this is gonna end badly for you. It's like, oh, and it did.
It was all the cut scenes of her with the different covens and them all dying and her like ha, 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 ha.
I think it was at that point in time when you sent me the message going, so she was just a power hungry bitch.
She's a power slut.
Power slut. That was how you phrased it. If I could put that hashtag on TikTok, I would. TikTok?
Oh my
On
God.
TikTok, I would. But they would so
You
be
can
like,
put it on a TikTok.
yeah,
Good luck to
very
you, though.
tiny. Power. Fuck, I spelt it wrong. Power. God damn it, I'm running out of spots. But yeah, that was the part when you sent me that message. I almost pissed myself laughing. Oh, so she's a power slut, huh? Maybe? I mean, I feel like the character be like, oh, I like that one. So that reminds me. Let's quickly go over my favorite lines from the show, because there were several of them that I kind of missed along the way. So obviously we got the "Eat My Ass, Chief," because that's just top tier. That would be something that I would see you saying as a cop.
I'm offended.
You would come up with all sorts of colorful things. Like, you as a cop would be so entertaining. Just the things that you would probably say to the people as you arrested them. You have the right to remain silent. Shut the fuck up. Like, and just so many things. But I had forgotten in one of the first episodes when they're picking up the witch Jen, the potions witch, Jen Kale. She goes walking in and she says that she wants one of those jade eggs for her Kegels, and says Sisterhood of the Traveling Kegels, which I had missed the first time through. And the second time through made me laugh hysterically, because I could so see saying that walking into the store, like I could see doing that walking into a store with you, me, and V, and saying that, and the three of us laughing while the other people just looked uncomfortable. I mean, like, well, see, you shouldn't listen in on conversations that you don't know about.
That's right.
And one of the other ones that I actually completely missed, because there were multiple people talking at the time, but when Rio first enters the scene after that creepy as fuck dead birthing into the world, Jen, the potions witch, says to Allie and Lilia about Rio that, do I hate her or do I want her phone number? And all of them being like, yeah, I kind of agree. And again, made me so happy. Like, even the amount of, I'm just going to blanket it as gay stuff in the show was such a good vibe to see, just because a lot of the times all those kind of things get glossed over, and they went full for it in this series, where they were like, okay, we're going to show gay men. They're going to be kissing. They're going to be holding hands. They're going to be doing all this. We're going to make the Agatha and Rio lesbians. Like, it's going to be right there where you're like, that is some damn good representation. I will happily take that. One of my favorite lines from the teen, aka Billy Maxbuff, was when it's in episode 6, because I don't know if he actually says it in the first one or not, but when she arrests him and throws him in detention cell, and it's actually the closet. I don't know if you heard it, but as she tosses him in there, he says, "Come on, I don't want to go back in the closet." I laughed at that one so much because I could see saying that, I mean, like, "Come on, guy, I don't want to go in here. I was never in there. Come on."
Yeah, that was a good one.
And then my favorite line that I am mad that I didn't think of myself and now want to use going forward. If you want straight answers, ask a straight lady. I heard that the very first time that we watched it, and I had to pause and slap Mama. I was like, did she just say? And she's like, yes, she did. I'm like, that is the best line I have ever heard. And I am now so mad.
Try that one at work.
I need someone to set me up for this so that way I can remember, because I have some good one-liners that I'm pretty damn proud of. Like, talking like, why do you have such good finger strength, lesbian? And just walk away. Like, mic drop. That's why I'm so mad that I did not get this one. I'm like, that was so good. How come I didn't think of this? I am now disappointed in myself and wanted to disown myself. So I'd have to say, all in all, I personally loved the show. I think they did a really good job. I think they did a really good job too with showing witches and different aspects of them. And and I think one of the things that I really loved from a witch perspective is that it showed what I always refer to as different breeds of witches, because a lot of people have the misunderstanding of, you're a witch, you're just like a witch. You do these set things. And it's not. It's, you have a bunch of different options. You can be a green witch, you can be a death witch specifically, you can be into potions or herbology or anything like that. Like, there's a bunch of different ones out there. So,
or the tarot cards, like Patty LuPone's character.
Yep, I'm gonna say the divination specifically, and showing the different types of divination. Like, even when she's going back, like, I loved her episode where they showed her going, her life sequence, and going back for her lessons. Like, that was so cool. And her even saying, tea leaf readings, I hated those. I sucked at them. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's probably something I'm never gonna understand. Tarot, I'll learn and I can get. Like, there's some stuff I already know about it. I can understand it for the most part. Need more practice. But you show me tea leaves, and I'm like, I sound like Ron Weasley when he's looking at it in divination class in Harry Potter, and he's like, so you have a little bit of a moon here or a sun here, but then you have this dark dog thing over here. So something bad's going to happen, but you're going to be happy about it. Like, that is me. That would be 100% me. So I think I probably have to give, like, for me, I probably give the show, I'm going to say a 9.25 out of 10.
I would go 8.5.
And now you're like, now I got to go back and watch Wanda.
Yep. And after I watch Wanda, I'll have to rewatch Agatha, so I pick up on the little nuances that I missed because I didn't watch Wanda.
I bet you any money you're going to notice it's like because of your speed reading. You're going to go back, rewatch it. You're going to notice stuff that you missed the first time and then be like, now it all makes sense. God damn. So definitely recommend anyone who hasn't watched it, go watch it. Hopefully you took the spoiler hashtag for real on this. So
Yes,
whoop.
I know it's. Oh my gosh,
Technology.
I don't know what's going on. I'm using. I'm using Skype on my phone because my computer just decided to be an absolute dick. So I'm using Skype on my phone, and it's like I'm like a fucking toddler.
No, you know what's sad is that toddlers and all that now know really well how to do technology stuff.
Yeah, probably better than I do. And I'm married to
Yeah.
an IT guy.
I was going to say, I've seen a lot of them where they take it and they're like, yeah, if you just do this. And then you're like, oh, okay, great. I feel dumb now. So, yeah, so definitely give it a watch, guys. And for those who follow us for the podcast, we'll be back tomorrow, possibly with a guest. We'll
Hopefully,
figure it out.
we'll find out if Bill's going to come on or not. If he doesn't, I'm sure we have shit to talk about.
All right, so yeah, we'll figure it out. We got this.
We got this.
Till later. See you later, guys.
Bye.